Aloha, good afternoon. We are live here at the Think Tech studio. My name is Stacey Hayashi for Community Matters, filling in for Jay Fidel, who is not here. Today we're going to talk about the Papahānaumokuākea monument expansion proposal, and who are the people that I have today? I have John Kaneko from Hawaii Seafood Council, Mike Guto from United Fishing Agency, which is our Honolulu fish auction, and Wayne Samiere. Did I say that right?
That's right.
From Honolulu Fish Company, that's a wholesaler. So good afternoon, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk story about this monument. So, okay, so in 2006, President Bush, yeah, established this monument, and well, it's currently the radius is 50 miles, right? But that actually means it's 100 miles because we're an island state, and it's a radius, right? And so this expansion proposal is for 200 miles, so that's gonna be 400 miles across, right? So you guys are in the industry. Why don't you tell me, why is the expansion of the monument bad for Hawaii?
Well, I mean, the primary negative impact is going to be that Hawaii-based longliners who catch big-eye tuna and other pelagic species will not be able to go into the area and continue to fish with their longline gear. The current monument out to 50 miles is already in place. It already excludes longlining, and it was okay because at least the longliners had the rest of the exclusive economic zone available to be able to fish along the entirety of the area. Unfortunately, if this area does expand and fishing is cut off in the entire area, there'll be no true U.S. economic zone in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands left for longliners to fish anymore.
So what does that mean? Tell me what a longliner is. What kind of fish do they go for?
The Hawaii Longline Fleet is basically a large vessel, fresh fish fishery. They drop a large longline gear along on the water that go to a certain depth under the ocean surface, where they target mainly big-eye tuna, and along with that they catch other species as well, yellowfin tuna, skipjack aku, mahi-mahi marlins, other billfish, and it really creates what we currently know as the.
So not fish like those, right?
No,
those are
those are reef fish.
Actually not.
But a fish, pelagic fish, large fish that we come to know today as what a Hawaii seafood is. Mahi-mahi, opa, manchang has become very popular.
And ahi, right?
And
that's
ahi
the main
is
catch.
always the primary
So that
target.
means like our poke bowls and sashimi platters and stuff that we're used to. Okay, well, let's talk about proponents of the expansion. So they say that it'll protect the environment and the reefs and marine mammals for generations to come. Is that true?
Well, I'd like to comment on that. First thing is to go back to the establishment of the original monument in 2006. It should be really noted that as of 1991, we had a 50-mile exclusion zone for longlining around the islands, including the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. So this monument comes after a science-based process in which the exclusion zone for longliners was already developed through a public process. And so we've had a history since 1991 of monitoring and documentation of whether or not there is this fishery is operating within sustainable limits and within the laws under that impact it through National Environmental Protection Acts, Marine Mammal Protection Act, Migratory Bird Act, and ESA, or Endangered Species Act. And so that's, it's really been documented through monitoring that this fishery has no impact on the nearshore resources. And so, and that's because of the nature of the fishing method. Well, this fishing method for longlining is actually pelagic longlining. So in the open ocean, the deepest hooks go to 350 meters, and the ocean floor offshore outside of 50 miles from anywhere in these islands is pretty deep. And so we're basically hanging gear into the water column, nowhere near coral reef, nowhere near any of the other critical habitats near shore that we're concerned about.
Right, because that's one of the things that they say it's going to do, right? It's going to protect these deep sea, the wrecks from World War II. So that's not really an issue.
I don't think it has any impact on that, not at those depths.
Right, because the longliners are like way up
At
here.
the surface.
And, okay, well, will this lead to better regulation of the fishermen? I mean, are they overfishing? What's going on?
Well, when you talk about overfishing of big-eye tuna specifically, you're looking at a total Western Central Pacific area. All tuna stocks within the area are managed under an international commission, the Western Central Pacific Fishery Commission, and unfortunately, they kind of group all big-eye tuna together into one fish stock, whether or not you're fishing in the northern areas, like where Hawaii is located, or down by the equator, or a bit further south. So the commission really groups it all into a single fish stock and manages that fish stock based on that. So you're not really taking into account how fish are caught, whether it's longlining or purse-seining being the large net vessels that catch mostly juvenile big-eye. And that's where the problem comes into play, when these purse-seiners are catching juvenile big-eye, much further south from Hawaii than where we are.
Can you explain to people what purse-seine is? What is that?
Purse-seining, when you think about canneries, canned tuna, they're mainly caught by these large purse-seining vessels that either fish in the open ocean or fish on FADs, fish aggregation devices. They basically encircle a school of fish with a large net and retain it, take it on board, and drop it into various canneries around the South Pacific. And that's basically where our canned tuna comes from. And again, they're really targeting skipjack tuna. Unfortunately, as a bycatch product of that, they're catching juvenile big-eye, small big-eye that have not been able to grow into mature adults, to spawn, to reproduce, to the next generation. So, that's where we're getting a lot of our trouble area when you talk about our big-eye being able to respond quickly enough.
But are those our guys out there?
It's definitely not. It's in a completely different area, completely different fishery, completely different type of fishing gear. But again, when we're getting all grouped into the same fish stock.
Oh, there. So this is a visual of the exposed, the proposed, it is exposed, the proposed expansion. And actually, I think there is an update. They did carve out a little area for the West Bank, Middle Bank.
For the Kauai guys.
For the Kauai guys. But that's really, that's not, it's a small portion of that proposed expansion. So, and they say it'll only affect 7%, 8% of the catch. So why are fishermen still so upset about this then, if it's only 7%?
Well, I'll comment on that. The fish is going to move based on oceanic conditions and productivity. And that is going to be impacted by shifts in, large-scale shifts like the El Nino and La Nina cycles. And so one year there may, we hate to get cornered into the idea that fish is uniformly distributed and only 7% comes out of one area, therefore you can get the rest compensated somewhere else. I think the idea is that fishermen need to be able to have options for places to fish and to be able to move to where the fish are. And this is really about our fishery being resilient in the face of climate change, to be able to adapt to climate change and to continue to fish sustainably. The key is that our fishermen are intensively managed, intensively studied, and as far as with our observer coverage, our catch reporting, and all the different regulations that are in place, exclusion zones outside of 50 miles, that this fishery continues to be monitored and assessed, and with in the opinion of the managers, and scientists that contribute to that those assessments, that this fishery continues to operate without causing jeopardy or to essential habitat or critical habitat for endangered species and protected species. So those are documents coming from the federal government.
The federal government, and so like scientists.
Through NOAA biological opinions.
Mm-hmm.
As recently as 2014, 2012, biological opinions continue to confirm that this fishery has no jeopardy on the survivability or the long-term survivability or existence of these sensitive species.
So our longliners are not overfishing our waters.
Well, overfishing is another story, but overfishing does not exist in Hawaii because we are absolutely accountable for every fish that we catch, and we're fishing within quotas.
You know, when you say monitored, what does that mean exactly?
A third party, disinterested third party is independent third parties looking.
So they're on the boat.
They're on the boat as observers. They're
making sure you follow the rules.
Electronic vessel monitoring systems. Right. So federal government knows exactly where these boats are 24/7.
Right. Talk about the foreign boats that are coming in, though. You know, like what about them?
Well,
is this going to solve that problem?
Well, you know, again, our Hawaii longline boats are fishing both in the economic zone and on the high seas. And on the high seas, international waters, vessels from foreign countries can come from all over. And you know, they're distant water fishing vessels. What they're doing is that they're coming close to U.S. territories and they're catching fish, longlining, and freezing on board for what's known as transshipment. They basically can fish, you know, without hindrance for long periods of time, drop off their catch to a cargo vessel who's going to transport it back to their home port. So they don't even drop at their own home port because they're so far away from their flag country. And you know, so it's an unmonitored and kind of not unregulated, but you know, you don't really exactly know how much they're catching at any time because they're just staying out on the water for long periods of time.
How long do they stay out, do you think?
Like a majority of the year. I mean, because
Wow.
they get resupplied, refueled at sea. Whereas conversely, Hawaii longline boats are going out on a fresh only trip, catching fish over a certain number of weeks, coming back to their home port of Hawaii, a U.S. flag. You know, they're flagged on U.S. flags, and in turn, you know, they're creating accountability, as John was saying, about you know where they were fishing, how they were catching the fish, where they caught the fish, and where they dropped it off. So again, it's entirely down to the reporting, to the operational data that's coming in, showing that this fleet is accountable for everything that they're doing, whether it's the fishing technique, the products being landed, and you know, in turn, getting to the consumer. You know where this fish came from, you know it was caught responsibly, and you know this fishery is being managed by a federal entity who is making sure that nothing illegal is happening.
So it sounds to me like our guys are the good guys, and why are we punishing them?
That's kind of always been the story.
Well, we have to go to a commercial break in a few seconds, but I want to touch on that when we come back. Again, we are Community Matters on Think Tech Hawaii with John Kaneko, Mike Goto, and Wayne Samiere.
Okay, this is Think Tech Hawaii, and it's Wednesday. Every Wednesday is Energy Wednesday here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. every Wednesday. Come and listen to us. And just to show you what I mean, I'm going to ask Sharon to tell us more.
Come and see us every Wednesday, as Jay said. And we have people like Jim Albers from HECO here and co-host Ray Starling here every Wednesday. We not only go on Olelo and OC16, but also stream live. So please come visit us, hear about the latest in clean energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here. You got any comment on all this?
As important as energy is in all of our lives today, this is a great forum and a great format to vet those issues. So I encourage everybody to listen in and participate.
Okay, Ray, what do you think for a close?
Well, I think this is the greatest show in the energy world here in Hawaii. You can come here every week, 1 hour, and catch the latest on what's happening and hear from the people who really know what's going on, like Jim Alberts. We appreciate your coming today.
Thank you.
Ray Starling, Sharon Moriwaki, Jim Alberts, and Jay Fidel here in Hawaii, the state of clean energy. 4 to 5 p.m. Wednesday. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, welcome back to Community Matters on Think Tech Hawaii. My name is Stacey Hayashi, and today we are talking about the expansion proposal of the Papahānaumokuākea monument. It's very long. I'm here with John Kaneko of the Hawaii Seafood Council, Mike Guto of United Fishing Agency, which is the fish auction at Pier 38, and Wayne Samiere of Honolulu Fish Company, and that's a wholesaler. So actually, Wayne, I didn't get to talk to you in the first half of the show, so tell me why you're here. Why is this important to you?
Well, Hawaii fish is very important to me. For the past 25 years, I've made a living by selling fish to the mainland. That's our specialty, is to ship fresh fish from the Hawaii boats all across the mainland, from San Francisco to New York City. And so they have been my customer base for all these years. And it's very, very important because Hawaii is a very marquee name in American culinary, in the American cuisine. And one of the very, very important reasons why chefs buy from us is they want to buy from a source that is sustainable, that's managed by science-based management. They want to buy from a place that knows that cares about the fish that they catch. So not only do they want to buy from Hawaii because of the quality, Hawaii has a very unique type of quality of fish, and some fish you can't really find anywhere else in the United States, anywhere else in the world actually.
Really?
Yeah, Hawaii is like the #1 place that foreign fleets want to fish around our waters, and my customers have grown to know that. And the other part that's very, very important to them is that a lot of our chefs that we deal with, their customers are asking the chef, where is this fish from? The customers are driving. It's American customers that are going to restaurants are saying, where is this fish from? Who caught it? Is it sustainable? Is it from a good management system? So the chefs are like, they really want to have a source that has good integrity, that's got a good management system, that has a reputation for sustainability, and Hawaii provides that for Hawaii fish is the #1 reputation for doing that. I was explaining to John here, there's a great story that the idea of Hawaii poke is something that's kind of a lot on menus across the country, and if you think about it, Hawaii poke is like cubes of raw fish. Where else what other source of fish could you convince Americans to eat cubes of raw fish out of Hawaii? Hawaii has that kind of reputation where it's the fish coming from Hawaii is not only is fantastic quality, but it's got this great wholesome science-based management program, and it's a sustainable product that is reliable and can be trusted. And that's a very important thing for our customers.
Right. I mean, actually, this poke bowl thing, it's a thing, right? I mean.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. There's and it came from Hawaii's culture of fish, and it came from the idea that the boats here in Hawaii specialize in raw quality, quality for eating raw. Again, you're not going to find that out of Texas or California or Kentucky.
Right. You don't want to eat that stuff. I've seen poke on the mainland, and nothing like what we have here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to share a story with you. So I got bumped up to first class. I was so lucky, they changed planes, and then it was on a flight to the mainland Hawaiian. And so this guy is sitting next to me in first class, and we have like a lovely meal, in first class, right? And he still pulled out his meal, like he brought food. And so I was like, oh, so you brought something of your own? The first class food isn't good enough for you. It was a poke bowl. And I said, so where's that from? He was Nico's. Anyway, I had to share that story about poke bowls because, I love poke. Growing up in Hawaii, right? I mean, that's just, you're born into it. Like, wow. And then the limu, do you sell limu?
Yes,
local?
yes,
Yeah?
yes. Limu's is also something that
So you're,
again,
you're educating people.
That's constantly what we're doing is we're educating them. Again, chefs are always coming to us for information. They want to know. The #1 thing to do is educating them, particularly with this kind of product, which is, you think about it, Hawaii is the only United States fishery that produces year-round ahi of this kind of quality, of this kind of fish. It's the only place.
Right.
So getting fish from Hawaiian waters is extremely important to what we do and why we actually have been existing for 25 years of doing this. It would be different.
Wow.
It would be entirely different if I didn't have Hawaiian fish from Hawaiian waters to sell. I wouldn't be in business if I sold Tonga fish or Fiji fish or something else. It just wouldn't be the same.
Right, right, agreed. Definitely. I mean, I think it's very important that people know that where our fish comes from. I mean, it's our food, right? And you are what you eat.
Particularly with the millennial generation, they definitely want to know where their food is from. That's very important.
So I think they would be comforted to know that they do come from our local waters. And like you said, Mike, they aren't frozen, right? So how does that happen? You can share a little bit about that.
Well, again, the Hawaii fleet targets, it's a fresh fish fishery who target basically raw consumption fish, mainly the big eye tuna.
So kind of like Japan, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Tsukiji.
But even Japan, they do flash freezing over there. In Hawaii,
We don't do that.
we're a completely fresh fish fishery that, again, you can't get your sashimi or your poke without a quality raw product, and something that Hawaii has come to know and cultivate, and like Wayne said, is starting to spread. And again, you're still focusing on Hawaii. This is why people come to Hawaii, tourists. This is why the locals, cherish what we have now. It's because over the years, over the decades, it's grown to this point, this appreciation for this fleet bringing in this high quality product. And again, you can't find that in a frozen product, especially if it's being imported.
And you can tell, right?
Of course.
It's brown because it's frozen, or it's gassed, right?
Yeah, I mean, gassing carbon monoxide treated tuna is a whole different story. And
Yeah.
but again, if you want to talk about the Hawaii Longline fleet and how they keep the product as fresh as possible, as high quality as possible, it's all based out of the standards that are set within both the auction company, it's HACCP programs, FDA. It all coincides together to create this great product that we have.
Actually, let's talk a little bit about the boats. You said they were kind of like large boats, but I think they're kind of small. Ours aren't small compared to these foreign boats.
Yeah, I mean, large compared to, like you say, like a recreational
Or
vessel.
like a Boston whaler or something.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, these are short-range boats. They only go out again for a few weeks at a time, and they don't want to stay out longer than that because their product will start to deteriorate.
Talk about the bycatch. Sorry to interrupt. Before they used to catch turtles and birds and stuff, and what did they do? They did something about it, right?
So under the Stevenson Act, which passed in 1976, fisheries were required to start mitigating their interactions with species that were deemed protected or endangered. So the Hawaii fleet had to, again, go along with that transition, and they created many different techniques that could deter interactions with seabirds, with open ocean turtles, with marine mammals. It really started to reflect on how responsible the fleet was when it came to not wanting to interact with these species. These people don't want to interact with them. They want to avoid them at all costs because they don't want it to have a negative impact on the fleet itself. And we're accountable for that.
Right.
Foreign fishing fleets don't have that kind of oversight that we have with National Marine Fisheries Service, with Coast Guard, who's enforcing these regulations. So again, it's a completely uneven table that we're on because we are handling all these issues domestically, even though we're in an international arena fishing and international market there's market incursion as well as fishing incursion occurring too. So it's a completely open competition out there. And unfortunately, we're on the shorter end of the stick.
And there's that monument. I think that's the current monument. Is that true? That's what it is now?
The 50-mile closure.
Okay. All right. I can't read it, but that's what it looks like to me. Okay. So let's actually talk about this unfair burden, this conservation burden. So this expansion goes through, it's like 67% of Hawaii waters will be closed off to fishing. What the heck?
Well, those are numbers that are thrown around for 66% of our exclusive economic zone.
Wow.
We still have access to the international.
So why would we want to
arena.
do that?
Well, it's exclusive economic zones
Well, why
for
would
the
we wanna
U.S.
give it away,
interests.
though?
And we met, yeah, that is the main question. So if the reason or rationale for expanding it is to protect the nearshore resources within 50 miles against basically the only fishery that's on the table right now, which is the pelagic longline fishery, I don't think there's science to back that up. We wouldn't expect to see any benefits over what we already have put in place. And I think it should be reiterated that the management system is the source of sustainability of this fishery. The rulemaking process that we have here under U.S. law, I think, is a model for others. Our implementation in the Western Pacific region through the Westpac Council in their function and in preparing and or collecting scientific data and also stakeholder input to generate and generate amendments and to maintain our fishery management plan, which is the basis on which we manage our fishery, is a model for others. And I would say that if all countries, their fishing fleets operated under the same management system that we have here, we wouldn't be worried about, we wouldn't be talking about overfishing and some of the other environmental impacts that are being basically lumped together and casting a pretty wide net and including Hawaii. And I think it's really unfair to our guys. It's unfair to our commercial fishermen that are basically compliant with the law. And actually, it's quite an insult to the NOAA fishery managers and the scientists that contribute to the system, because the system does work. And in this case, I think it's not accurate to depict the nearshore resources in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands as being threatened by the longliners. For instance, with monk seals or fin whales or whatever, sea turtles. All of that, the fishery impacts have been assessed through NOAA biological opinions and continue to confirm that we have no, we don't place those resources or critical habitat in jeopardy. So, and I also wanted to say that getting back to what Wayne was saying is that really the source of sustainable seafood is the management system itself. And it's not a label, it's not anything else. You need to dig a little deep to see where it comes from. And I would say the simple answer to most people's questions and concerns about sustainable seafood is buy American first. We're here locally, buy local, buy from the Hawaii boats, and question everything else.
That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I trust our local fishermen. We're out of time today, folks, but thank you so much. I know it went by really quickly. There's a lot to talk about, but thank you so much for coming today, and hopefully we'll be back again to continue this conversation. My name is Stacey Hayashi here, sitting in for Jay Fidel on Community Matters for Think Tech Hawaii.